talking about being world changers, and you did. I mean, it was all over the news about this orange revolution in the Ukraine, because the Russians were putting pressure on the government of Ukraine to become more communist again, or to be controlled more by Russia. And the people stood up and said, no, it's not going to happen. But the people were initiated by this Nigerian guy that came to the Ukraine. Tell us that.
Well, that might be a fascinating story to tell now, but for me, the story is not ended yet, because right now I'm a persona non grata to Russia. The Russian government have prohibited me from coming to Russia, and they just arrested my bishop, the bishop of our church, who went to Russia because he's a Russian himself, and sent him out of the country. Just last week, they sent out the pastor of my church in Russia. They prohibited him and deported him from Russia, because they think we are to blame for the Orange Revolution in the Ukraine, because we brought people to the street. We brought 20,000 people to the street. Then later on, 500,000 people joined from the country, and we were able to sustain democracy in the Ukraine. Well, you know what? When I began to hear about the prophecies that communism was going to collapse and that freedom was coming to Russia, I could also remember that there were also prophecies that said the door was going to be open for a short time and that the doors were going to close again. Being in Russia, I said, I don't care what happens to all other Russian countries, but if I'm in the Ukraine, I am here with the kingdom of God. The doors are not going to close in the Ukraine. We are going to build a church that is so powerful that will infiltrate every sphere of life, that will be in politics, that will be in the economy, that will be in the social life, that when the door is about to close, we will put our leg down there. That is not going to happen. So when the Russian government wanted to bring communism back to Ukraine, we brought all our people out, and the whole country fought for the democracy and for the freedom of the country. We are glad that even the president of the country wrote me a letter saying, because of you and people like you, we are able to have democracy in the Ukraine today. Well, that's what the church is supposed to be doing. I tell my friends in America that I don't care how many people you have in your church. If you have 1 million people in your church and you are not changing your culture, if you are not changing the society, I don't care how big you are. I don't care what television shows you have. But if you are not changing the culture, it is just another club. Amen. Well, if we have a lot of people coming to our church and we are not changing the society, well, we are just having another nice time. The church is supposed to be able to shape the culture and the values of every given society. And that's what churchship is all about.
Well, Ephesians chapter 4 tells us that the purpose of the leaders in the church are for the equipping of the saints for the work of service. So it's our job as pastors and as leaders in the church to